Hello, everybody. I am Technovoid, your host, and Reflection trapped inside the mirror. Please let me out. And with me is Hamsterwings, your favorite Pokemon analyst. We are back with TDD Season 6, week, I think 6, right?
This is week 6,
This
and
is week 6.
it's the you and me week. We've
It,
decided.
yeah, we had to do it again. It's another one of those weeks. Not gonna not gonna talk shit about Quick Ball. Last week was the Quick Ball shit talking week. This week, I will just say, unfortunately, we do not have any Quick Ball matches because there are no Quick Ball matches. It is unfortunate. We like to talk about those. We feel like they're the best for like learning experiences and kind of stuff. But unfortunately, if nobody plays before we record these, we just got to do timer. So instead, we have two timer matches for you, starting with Post Structure versus Fourgeist. Talk to me.
Yeah, so this match was truly unfortunate for a number of reasons. Not one, that my Billy Sprite is gone for right now because I cleared my cookies and I forgot to reset it.
It's truly terrible.
But this was an important timer ball match as it is first place versus second place.
Mm-hmm.
Me being in second, Post being in first.
Post having not yet dropped a match this season yet.
Yeah. And me looking to change that.
Secure your position in because at this point I don't think there's any way you don't make playoffs, right?
I'm not sure. I don't
I
think
think
so.
I think
it's
even
6-0
if you got
maybe.
I think you got even if you got 06 next week, I still think you're like definitely guaranteed a spot. So yeah, pretty important match on that front. I think Post is also pretty much guaranteed a spot. Just because your guys' differentials are so high. But regardless,
Yeah.
talk to me about what
So-
you're looking here.
So, I had a lot of thoughts coming into this match. One of which being, he needs speed control against me,
Uh-huh.
and to me that was like, ooh, I have a lot of ins here because what are the speed controls on Post's team? It's literally Roaring Moon and Drifblim.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So basically, I was fully ready to see Drifblim here,
Uh-huh.
and I mean there it is.
Yeah.
My Starmie set is set to beat it,
Very good.
which I know not a lot of people would maybe bring Starmie as a counter to Drifblim, but I did.
That works. Yeah. So yeah, notably with the Roaring Moon, you do mention that it has speed control. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think most, if not all weeks that we've actually seen Roaring Moon come out, it has almost always been booster energied into attack, which means that it's pretty easy to predict Post's Roaring Moon speed tier, just based on that, because to actually, booster into attack, you need a very specific speed.
Yeah, I'd been cognizant of that, but I wanted to, of course, wait till it hits the field to actually confirm
Oh,
that.
well, sure, of course, yeah. I think it is something that has happened. I know it happened in my match. I think it's happened at least one or two other ones. So Post sort of has a MO with running that attack boosting booster energy there. So it's just something to keep in mind.
What Post told me is that his feared leads were any combination of Togekiss Landorus or Sneasler Absol.
Hmm.
Needless to say, Togekiss and Absol aren't here this match.
Yeah, so that's a question. I wonder what Post is thinking for the lead. Yeah, Togekiss, Landorus, I can relate to that. I can relate.
Yeah, it is a good lead. I didn't think it was the play here.
Anything else going in, or should we just start it?
I guess the one thing to note is that I'm terrified of Entei. I think my team is very bad into it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So a lot of my prep is against Entei.
I assume that is why Arcanine is here.
Arcanine is here to be unable to intimidate Entei, but still take a hit from it.
Nice. That thing gets flash fire, right?
It does, but I didn't run it because Intimidate's too good.
That's fair. Alright. Especially, yeah, you got the Roaring Moon, you got the Ursaluna. I can definitely see why you wouldn't want to. Alright. Let's jump on in. So, Post going to lead in a way that I think makes a lot of sense for Post. I don't actually... I think he was trying to set up a Tailwind, but this definitely looks like a TR lead. Get the
I
Protect
believe
there.
it was Tailwind, but this is the exactly what I wanted. I clicked Coast Combat right off the bat because I'm sick of people running that covert cloak.
Mm-hmm.
So just in case. But, Starmie
Going
doing
in.
what it do,
Yeah. Now
getting
this...
the kill on Drifblim. Very, very bad position for Post right off the bat, and he's about to make it even worse by forgetting to Mega Venusaur.
Yes. Mega Venu does barely live this Psyshock, and then, obviously gets to Mega Drain, or Giga
Which is
Drain.
insane to me that it lives.
Yeah.
But,
But as it goes, and here we see the Photosynthesis, we see the attack again. Now, at this point, we do have the burned Ursaluna in the back, but without any speed control, it really suffers, because you have so much speed on your side. And not even really able to do anything there. Get the fake out, but it doesn't really matter. Although you do manage to kill this Starmie, or rather
Yeah.
Post does, which is,
yeah, the Starmie did need to get out of there. It was causing problems, especially because Roaring Moon Terra to fighting. But Sneasler has just kind of been allowed to wreak havoc on the other side of the field.
Yeah, it's just standing there.
Getting another poison. Arcanine just takes nothing. Just, like, what a demon.
Now this Sash, this burn is so funny.
It's 50%. It's the same chance that I poisoned him.
Fair enough.
So I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, it's just really funny that the Sash ended up playing out like that. But at this point, you...
Throwing down a Will-O-Wisp on the Roaring Moon. And like I said earlier, that Photosynthesis attack giving me a lot of information on what Roaring Moon is.
Yeah.
Allowing me to bring in Landers here, knowing that it can't possibly be faster. Where if I didn't see any Photosynthesis boost, I would be unable to assume that.
Yeah, but at this point...
If Post was running Jolly Life Orb, and gave no information away, I would have no idea. I couldn't switch in Landers.
Yeah. And tell me about that Roost. Do you think that's the play there? Because I see that and I get obviously very nervous because this Ursaluna is not getting a chance to hit, unfortunately. So how do you feel about that Roost there?
So I think Post was so far in the back foot that he might have wanted like Band Entei and Roaring Moon to be out together as like the chance. Because this was as I was tearing into Rock type, so he thought Entei could probably revenge kill Landorus.
I see.
Now he knows it can't.
I see. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. This is before the Terra Rock. I was thinking, why not go straight for the move? But you're correct. So yeah, unfortunately, Ursaluna really not able to do anything this match, just because that lead just really rough. And then that is gonna be the match because the Brick Break just it's a low BP move.
Yep.
Running Terra Blast there, you don't really set screens, do you?
I don't know.
You don't really set screens, so I feel like the Terra Blast would have been the better fighting type option over Brick Break there.
So
it still wouldn't have killed, but
this match, like really the information game with Roaring Moon was big, but also the lead determined the whole match.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
And
I mean,
sometimes that just happens.
yeah, it might happen again in another match we talk about today, potentially. Yeah, I mean, I think that being said, I think once Post was put on the back foot, Post was, I don't think, went into your team really expecting this sort of, I mean, this isn't like super hyper offense, but like this is a very offensive team, and I think Post really likes sort of slower teams that like take a little bit more time because it gives him a lot of chances to just do big damage into them, because he has this sort of like bulky offense on his side. Once he was sort of on the back foot there because of that early switch in the momentum, it was just really hard to come back.
Yeah, Landorus was also mixed in case it had to come in on Roaring Moon earlier because Roaring Moon's Fizz-Dev is not good.
Yeah.
Basically, this entire match, I didn't want to spend any turns doing anything that wasn't attacking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense.
The whole time.
Yeah, I think with the exception of like Mega Venu and I guess Blastoise to some extent, the team just like it suffers from not really having a way to cancel out the other player's momentum. Like you have Clefable, but Clefable's not here, right? So like once the other team starts snowballing, what does he do?
Yeah. It was a really hard position to be put in.
For sure. All right. Well, let's move on to the other match this week, which is going to be Diggory versus CP Sentinels. So going into this match, I can just go ahead and say off the bat, this is something I've been struggling with all season. High tier ground types just threaten me really hard.
Especially when they aren't weak to the things that ground types are weak to.
Yeah, sometimes. I genuinely, honestly, this Great Tusk could have just gone Terra Ground. I honestly expected it to, in big part, because headlong rush. I guess you don't want to go headlong rush, but even like banded earthquake terra ground just kills so many things. And when you have that alongside Whimsicott, you have that alongside that prankster tailwind. I went into this match just absolutely terrified of this Tusk. Really no idea what to do against it. So a lot of my prep is focused specifically against this Tusk. Diggory actually taking the entire opposite direction on this, and I don't even think this is like a prep diff. Like, I don't think I think Diggory's prep was better than mine. Of course, Diggory spends way more time on prep than me. But I think it was just us going into the match with very, very different expectations for what our win cons are. So he's actually running a very, very bulky team. I think everything on this team is like basically special defense oriented, with like no offensive investment at all, which is really something I was not expecting going into it.
Yeah, it is a very specific counter team thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't always work all the time, because sometimes Chiyu just breaks through.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a gamble to run this kind of SPDEF team.
Yeah. And always, you know, you have the Valiant there, which does threaten on the physical side. This Valiant is actually on the special side, because again, I was really just thinking about that Great Tusk, and special Valiant just did more even when it was max special bulk. I did not account for AV, which was my fault. But so I think the two game plans going to this match, like Diggory sees what I have and I see what Diggory has, and we're just thinking about this match completely differently. I'm thinking, how do I basically eliminate this one Pokemon that super threatens my team, whereas like I'm thinking like, okay, Whimsicott, Tusk, that's it. If that's the win con right there. Whereas Diggory is coming at this with a completely different angle that is just, I just need to stall out his team. I don't actually need to get any one shots, which is not something I was expecting at all.
It's always funny when two players come into the match just completely differently.
Yeah.
And it creates interesting matches.
I think it does. Alrighty, well, let us start here. So we have the lead. Whimsicott, I was absolutely expecting on lead. Salazzle, that I think, like, looking at this team, I wasn't 100% predicting Salazzle would come to this match, but that's super expected. Bake Out makes a lot of sense. I'm just essentially trying to set up Tailwind as Diggory sets up Tailwind. I did not expect the taunt. That was on me. I really should have. But at the very least, I can get a switch here, and I can get my Tailwind up as Diggory gets his Tailwind up, which for me is pretty good at this point. Doesn't even go for the Tailwind. So I get mine up, and at this point, I feel pretty confident I can take care of this Whimsicott before it does anything. Because I basically need to survive four rounds of Tailwind at this point.
Like, look at that damage. That is a Finny behind a light screen.
Yeah.
And that's still 2 KOing.
Yeah, it's insane. And at this point, I'm actually very proud of this turn, bringing in this, activating my Quirk Drive. So at this point, my Quirk Drive, I'm now special attack. I am flying Terra, which means I have 2x on flying, and I have a Sharp Beak, which boosts the power of my flying type moves.
Wow.
What the fuck? What the fuck? How? I know it's max special bulk, but that's nothing. This is nothing for this genuinely made me so mad. Anyways,
naturally, this is also a roll.
Yes, this is a roll. I think this is like 60% to kill after the light screen. Regardless, this is really, really bad for me at this point, because this means that Diggory is able to switch that Whimsicott out, and at any point, when something dies after his Tailwind is down, he can bring it back in, immediately get up Tailwind again. I'm not going to have another chance to set up Tailwind. Right? Like, once Jugulis goes down, I'm basically out of speed control. And this Tusk under Tailwind, it terrifies the fuck out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see the Calm Mind. Honestly, not that surprising. Luckily, Rising Voltage Pincurchin absolutely destroys this thing still, until the Defog comes out. I lose my special attack boost. I do get the flinch, luckily. But my Rising Voltage is not killing now. This is genuinely so sad for me.
Yeah, and while it is generally bad for you that the Whimsicott lived, it does allow you to double target Finny there very safely.
Yeah.
Which is always nice.
Yeah, so I'm at this point. I'm just like, okay, if this Finny's gonna be boosting, I'm just gonna prevent this Finny from, being a part of the match. I do love seeing this Latias boosting up here, because one of my best Great Tusk techs is actually Scarf Transform Smeargle in the back. And this Latias is the perfect answer to that. So I see this thing boosting up. I'm like, okay, this is my chance, to basically kill that thing, or to potentially absorb that thing. T-Bolt comes out, kills. That's perfectly fine. He's got Tailwind, or no, I have Tailwind because I just set it up. So I'm super fast right now. This is perfect for me. I've got the Scarf. I should be fine. Switches out. This is so sad.
Now he's Great Tusk.
Now I'm Great Tusk, and that does not do very much for me. I did not expect this to do this little. Didn't see the AV coming, honestly. Probably should have. Stupid on my part. But at this point, now Tusk can just leave, and I'm like, well, shit. I have a ground fighting type. I maybe should have left. But I get very lucky here. Props to Diggory.
Finny staying parried.
Yeah, Finny, I think, hit 60% of the moves that it intended to. But now that Latias is down, unfortunate for me. I did really want that, but alas, it happens. And this Muddy Water taking him out. So that Finny had been clicking Muddy Water
the whole time.
The whole time, with the exception of all the times it clicked Protect. So that could have gone very differently. I'm very much on the back foot now. I still do think I have some chance. It's pretty late in the game. But I get another Quark Drive up. As long as this Finny doesn't leave, I can maintain this. I am afraid of the Salazzle Fake Out, of course, because I don't want to break Sash. Goes for Sludge Bomb instead. And of course, Rising Voltage is, good switch into Tusk there. Probably should have predicted that, but I didn't feel safe assuming that was going to be a switch.
Also, So No Tread, very good nickname.
Yeah, that's another time. None of my calcs panned out as I expected, because I truly wasn't expecting the team to be this bulky.
Yeah,
so
Scald there has a 0% chance of killing.
Yeah, I know. Here's the thing. I don't know what I thought there. I don't know why you Scald into that slot. I assumed my calc was showing over 100% damage on the Tusk. So I was targeting the other slot because I think I was assuming a switch into Salazzle there.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was expecting that. Otherwise, obviously, I would have Rising Voltage there, but I was expecting a switch into Salazzle because with those two Pokemon, with Valiant and with Shocks, Fake Out is just very nice into them because they both die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So finally, the Tusk is down. Another para. You hate to see it. So double down here, does let Diggory get in Whimsicott pretty quickly. No problem. And at this point, I'm like, okay, it Tailwinds. I can live this regardless because of the Sash, and I just need to kill this thing. Again, was expecting over 100%. Now, had I hit the Scald on the other thing there, it still wouldn't have killed, I don't think, because this thing was plus special defense. I know it has the minus special defense now, but
yeah.
I mean, the way I was reading that, in hindsight, don't let the Whimsicott die, but the way I'm reading it is either it's using Tailwind and I get one turn to attack, or it's using Light Screen and it's doubling that thing's special defense. So either Chandelure is dying in one hit, or it's never dying, right? So at that point, I just need the differential point on that, and hoping beyond hope that he goes for Tailwind instead of a Light Screen there. But
yeah,
nope, this is the least offensive Chandelure in existence.
Yeah, it's very funny.
Yeah. And that is going to be the match. I have no idea how the match would have panned out if that Whimsicott died on turn 3.
Mm-hmm. It still ended up being close.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely just completely different prep, me not expecting Degrees Pokemon to be especially bulky as they were. Probably should have predicted it in hindsight, but just none of my calcs were panning out the way I thought they were, and being able to get off the tailwind, the light screen, the defog, just all that shit, just like absolutely ruining my plans. But otherwise, I think really good match overall. Was a lot of fun to play.
Yeah.
It's really funny, as you mentioned, when two people go into a game and they're looking at the other person's team with just a completely different idea of like what their win cons are.
Yep.
So, anyways, that is it. Do you have any final thoughts on this one or no?
Not really. That's about what I got.
Cool. Alrighty. Any other thoughts in general? I know there's not really any quick ball stuff that we can talk about, but anything from the other two timer matches that you want to know?
Not really.
Yeah. There's probably not too much to say. Yeah.
They were fine matches, except for the one that probably made everyone angry.
Yes. Aegislash is a Pokemon. Anyways, that is gonna be it. Again, truly hope we can get some quick ball matches in a little bit earlier in the final week. Give us one more chance to sort of talk out some, potentially, newer strats in that league. I think that's where these videos excel, is being able to talk about those matches and sort of provide some scholastic content in some sense. But either way, there's a word for that. Enrichment? I don't know. Whatever. Educational content in some sort. But either way, that is going to be it. So I've been Technovoid. This has been Hamster Wings. We will see you guys next week with the final week of not playoffs. So Andy thing can Hadplen, but really not actually. A couple of things can Hadplen, but not anything. We do have some really hype matches next week for Timer, though.
It's true.
It's true. Alrighty, well, we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.